True freshman Tyler Kasak finishes in third place. The veteran Bernie Truax takes fifth place. And now Penn State is that much closer to securing the NCAA scoring record.
You are Locked On Nittany Lions, your daily podcast on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I mean, what a run by Tyler Kasak, winning 7 in a row through consolations after dropping the opening round of the NCAA tournament, and Bernie Truax, give him his flowers, finishing on such a strong note, winning that fifth place bout over someone he lost to before in the Big Ten championship. This is Locked On Nittany Lions. I'm your host, Zach Seyko, and thanks so much for making us your first listen and watch every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. Like this episode, share it with friends and family, and let me know in the comments section what you thought about Kasak's performance as a true freshman and Truax just finishing the career strong on the best possible note, a career-defining moment for him as he did lose to Isaiah Salazar in the Big Ten championship and followed it up with a major decision. I'll start with Kasak, then go to Truax, and just give an update on the team standings as Penn State is positioned very well to get the NCAA team scoring record and what it's going to take to do just that now with 6 NCAA finalists. But Tyler Kasak, I'm almost out of words at this point for what Kasak has done, because let's start from the beginning. I've already said this, but I feel it's important to reiterate it, to hash it out again, because it shows just how respectable his performance was at the NCAA tournament. Kasak was not supposed to be in the lineup. Kasak was not supposed to be a starter. He was supposed to redshirt, and he wasn't even supposed to be in this weight class. Kasak's plan was to redshirt at 141 and then assumedly take over for Bo Bartlett after this season. Okay, all those plans are scrapped. Bo Bartlett might come back, and Kasak is now at 149 because of the injury to Shane Van Ness. So Kasak had to fend off David Evans, and then he goes all the way through consolations after dropping the NCAA tournament opening round match to the number 26 seed, and he takes third. What's also more impressive of that is, okay, the 7-match winning streak, and you lose a close one. I feel like anybody that's 18, 19 years old is going to be rattled. The confidence, the mentality that Kasak has to not be pierced whatsoever, to respond the way that he did. And the way that he did it too. The results speak for themselves, but particularly reacting to this session 5, where Kasak actually finishes in third place now. You know, all the results are great. They're wonderful. But look at who he had to wrestle today in Ridge Lovett and Ty Waters. He defeated Ridge Lovett, who was the number 1 seed. What the heck is Ridge Lovett doing now in consolations? He lost to Caleb Henson of Virginia Tech 1-0. That's why he's there. But Ridge Lovett, he was close the first time. They wrestled at Rec Hall. Ridge Lovett ended up winning. And then the second time they met in the Big Ten tournament, it looked like Ridge Lovett controlled that one. It was still fairly close, but then Ridge Lovett turned the corner, and then that was that, and Kasak lost decisively here. But now, meeting him for the third time, when the stakes are at the highest, because Ridge Lovett can rebound and win a third-place title when he, again, going into this as the number 1 seed. And Kasak, he didn't win 1-0 or 3-2 or a close margin. This was a 10-1 major decision over a veteran in the sport of college wrestling, the number 1 seed out of Nebraska, and somebody that he's already lost to twice. And he won 10-1 by major decision, racked up 3 minutes of riding time against probably arguably the best defensive wrestler at 149 pounds. And then one of the best defensive wrestlers overall across all the weight classes. And that's what Tyler Kasak did. Gave him a taste of his own medicine, beat him at his own game, and won convincingly. Then going into the third place bout, Ty Waters is as talented as it gets. Fellow true freshmen in their own rights. Ty Waters of West Virginia, Tyler Kasak of Penn State, and it's a 3-2 decision. And Waters was aggressive, and Kasak, he got hit with a stalling call. I thought that was interesting because he wasn't by any means backing up in that third period, but got hit with the stall call and just was able to fend off every single shot. He was aggressive. He landed a takedown, and that was the difference. You go back to the 2 Ridge Lovett matches specifically with Kasak, where I don't want to say pessimistically, but definitely he was wrestling passively. He was wrestling passively in those matches and kind of waiting for the opponent to come to him. And what does he do in this tournament? What does he do in this tournament? He starts wrestling aggressively. He starts landing the first punch, the first takedown, scoring early, and forcing the opponent to wrestle from behind. And that's what happened this time with Ridge Lovett Part 3. And then Ty Waters couldn't catch up. Kasak got the takedown, gave up the escape point, couple of escape points, and it's 3-2. And Ty Waters is chasing Kasak around the mat, and Kasak gets in deep on a leg to finish the final 20 seconds and was able to secure the victory and finish in third place, 7 victories in a row. Tyler Kasak, nothing short of impressive here, and he really, truly had himself a tournament. You lose to the 26 seed. You come in as the number 17, and then you lose to the 26 seed. That's one you should have won. Okay? That's one he should have won. But it wasn't an ideal matchup, given that this was a 4-time NCAA qualifier. Jaden Abbas should not be overlooked just because he's the 26 seed. However, this is one Kasak should have won and probably would win 10 other times if they wrestle that many more times. Kasak wrestled all the way back through consolations the way that he was winning too. He was winning by fall, major decision, taking out the number 3 wrestler in Jackson Arrington, the number 1 wrestler in Ridge Lovett, and taking third place at the end of the day. As a true freshman, the light switch turned on and then some for Tyler Kasak, someone who wasn't even supposed to wrestle this season, and he ends up finishing in third place as a true freshman at 149 pounds. Bernie Truax takes 5th place. What does Penn State need to do to secure the NCAA team points record? We'll discuss just that on the other side of this break. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet every game of the tourney. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a number 1 seed, it's time to go dancing on America's number 1 sportsbook, FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200. New customers, $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet is a winner. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines, totals. You can even pick who's going to win it all. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops until they cut the nets down. And this week's March Madness bracket highlight is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. Each week, we're picking one team that stands out, a team that's pushed it further than the rest. And just like any of the all-new 2024 Nissan SUVs, these guys were able to take it to the next level. How about the Oakland Golden Grizzlies? They are obviously this week's Nissan Rogue. The team absolutely surprised us all with a powerful performance in the first-round upset against the Kentucky Wildcats, giving them their biggest win in program history. They say win life, go Rogue, and that's exactly what the Golden Grizzlies have done here. Take the Nissan Rogue, the Nissan Pathfinder, or the Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop all of them right now at nissanusa.com. That's nissanusa.com. And remember, if you're not already, become an everyday or subscribe to Locked On Nittany Lions on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast for the latest conversations around your favorite Penn State sports teams. Bernie Truax at 184 taking 5th place, but it's the way that it happened. Because Truax, and then we'll get to the points record once again to finish up this quick reaction to Session 5. But Penn State is in prime position to take that scoring record because of what Kasak did, but also Truax because neither of these wrestlers could have won today. They faced stiff competition. Again, Ridge Lovett and then Ty Waters. And for Bernie Truax, facing Trey Munoz, who he was pinned by. Trey Munoz should have been in the NCAA championship, but he's down in consolations, and Trey Munoz ends up taking 3rd place. But Truax, for somebody that has, I don't want to say struggled, but at the same time, he hasn't been able to get over that mountaintop with respect to whenever he's faced a top-tier wrestler at 184. Whether it's been any of these guys in the Big Ten, there's always been this small gap that Bernie Truax has not been able to close. And we've seen it on display with the likes of Trey Munoz. Now, he did sustain some sort of injury against Dustin Plott, but Plott, who is in the championship, did end up defeating him by major decision. We can't neglect that. Isaiah Salazar, who he should have beaten the Big Ten title, but Salazar was able to turn it around, counter, and end up winning the Big Ten championship. and then losing to Lenny Pinto as another example as well. So that's 4 select wrestlers that Truax was close, but close only counts in horseshoes, right? It certainly doesn't count in wrestling. And the way that he was able to finish his season, his collegiate wrestling career, a revenge opportunity. Isaiah Salazar, who should be in the NCAA championship as well, right? Trey Munoz and Salazar should not be in consolations, but here they are. And Truax has to respond to the Munoz pin because that's going to be degrading to your confidence. We want to talk about something that shakes confidence. Getting pinned in the consolation bracket like that, and then you got to follow it up with a 5th place match. Do you even, because you're shooting for 3rd, do you even really want 5th place at this point since you lost out on 3rd? But you get the chance to exact your revenge. And similar to Kasak, this wasn't 1-0. This wasn't 3-2. This was a 12-0 major decision, utter dominance against somebody who defeated you in the Big Ten championship. Isaiah Salazar of Minnesota. That's the number 2 seed in this 184-pound bracket. And Bernie Truax, a 4-time NCAA All-American, doing it at multiple different weights, transferring into Penn State for his final season, wrestling at 184, and finishes in 5th place. And now Penn State, because of this, is in a better position, because if Kasak and Truax didn't pick up these wins, well, they would really need the slack to be picked up by the NCAA finalists. And I think they would have needed 5, possibly all 6, to win a national title if they were going to set the team scoring record. And the finals take place tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. They're starting with the heavyweight bout between Greg Kirkfleet and his opponent, Lucas Davison of Michigan. So Kirkfleet, and I find that very interesting, right? The NCAA, ESPN, I think they know what they're doing with this because Brooks is going for the Hodge Trophy, and he and Trent Hidley, part 4, part 5. I've lost count because, like I said before, they wrestled in freestyle and they've wrestled collegiately as well. And Brooks has won every single step of the way. But that is going to be the match to cap it all off. And they want who's probably in the lead for the Hodge Trophy, Aaron Brooks, to wrestle that final one. So they're going to go 285, 125, 133, so on and so forth. But it starts with Greg Kirkfleet at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So how do they get the team points record held by Iowa since 1997 and Dan Gable's best team? They got to get 4 NCAA champions. I don't want to say it's that easy, but it becomes a lot simpler now than what it was originally. So you have 6 opportunities here. If Penn State goes 4-2 in the NCAA titles tonight, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time, they will set the scoring record. And I want them to create some buffer. Don't allow other schools to ever threaten this record. But when I say other schools, I should really say other Penn State teams. So this 2023-2024 Penn State team needs to isolate itself in history away from other future Penn State teams that are going to try to threaten this record, especially with what Penn State could return next season. We're talking about the scoring record now. Penn State potentially could reset it in 2025. Let me not get ahead of myself. Penn State still got to do it tonight. They have 6 NCAA finalists. It'll start with Greg Kirkfleet. It will be followed by Bo Bartlett, then Levi Haynes, then Mitchell Messenbrink, then Carter Starachi, finished up with the candidate leading for the Hodge Trophy race, Aaron Brooks against Trent Hidley. If you want to see my full finals preview on those respective matchups, I reacted to day 2, session 4 particularly, but overall day 2 in my previous episode here on Locked On Nittany Lions. I appreciate you checking out this instant reaction of session 5 with Kasak and Truax finishing in 3rd and 5th place respectively. And if you want more conversations around your favorite Penn State sports, subscribe to the channel, Locked On Nittany Lions on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Be a part of the discussion. Let me know in the comments what you think about Kasak's performance, Truax, and just overall how Penn State did this NCAA tournament. And for more content around your favorite Penn State sports teams, keep it right here on Locked On Nittany Lions.